Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Backwoods Solar YouTube video. In today's YouTube video, we're going to be covering the Smart Battery Protect and Battery Protect product lines. Let's get into it. We're going to start today's video by talking about some of the physical features of the Smart Battery Protect line, as well as some of the differences within the product line from unit to unit. The first thing to consider when selecting a Battery Protect unit is whether or not you'd like the Smart feature. All of the units with Smart in their name have Bluetooth built in. This allows for programming and monitoring via the VictronConnect app, which is used for pretty much all of the other Victron Bluetooth and non-Bluetooth devices. So the first thing to determine is, do you want Bluetooth or no Bluetooth? Second thing you're going to look at is the voltage. These units come in two different voltage ranges, so either auto-detecting 12 and 24 volt or 48 volt, and then will come at different amperages. At the 48 volt product line, you only have one option at 100 amps. At the 12 and 24 volt product line, you have several options available from 65 amps to 220 amps. The next thing to be aware of with these Smart Battery Protects is their intended use case. It's very important to understand that these units are designed for unidirectional breaking of power only. So we want power flowing only in one direction. So from the in to the out, so this can be either a load, where we're going to break the power to the load based on the parameters we set, or we can break a charge, saying coming from a device based on the parameters we set. These devices are not able to be used in instances where we have bidirectional power moving. Probably the most common instance of that is inverter chargers, where they can both take power and deliver power to the batteries or to the loads. These must be used in a unidirectional load or discharging or charging circumstance only. Otherwise, the units will be damaged. Taking a look here at the physical features of these units, you can see here on the left in this 48 volt unit, it's essentially identical in construction besides the scale to the 12 and 24 volt units, but you can see here clearly labeled we have an input and an output stud. Up here with this loop of wire, this is a remote connection terminal. Essentially, when this loop of wire is in place, that's a on signal or a work signal. When this loop is disrupted, that's a no charge, no discharge, or a stop signal for this unit. This can be connected to a variety of different things, a toggle switch. You can also connect it to the allowed to charge or discharge signal that the other pieces of Victron equipment will be broadcasting. You can also set this up with BMSs for discharge and charging, things like that. But essentially, if these wires are touching, it's on. If this loop is broken, it is off. Over here to the right, we have another terminal block and an included connector here for the ground, the programming. So if you didn't want to use Bluetooth or you didn't have the Bluetooth, it allows you to set the voltages for on and off. And then we also have an alarm circuit that we can activate if the device goes into the shutdown state. In terms of wiring these up, the connections to these units is pretty straightforward. The in and the out are going to break the positive side connection of the DC load. So we have one side of the positive coming into the in, and then our loads, in the case of this disrupting our loads, are connected to the output side. We have this little terminal block here that provides control negative, essentially some control voltage for the Bluetooth and operation of the device, the FETs inside and things. So this wire here can be landed anywhere on battery negative, and these here will break the positive connection to the loads or charge. When it comes to programming these units, you have two different options or two different ways you can approach programming these. Again, first we have this programming pin here, and essentially when you touch this programming pin to ground, it will move this LED display to a value which then you cross-reference in a table, which gives you the on and off values as well as setting the various features and parameters of the Smart Battery Protect. Otherwise, the most common and easiest way of programming these, if you have the Smart Battery Protect option, is to use the Bluetooth app through VictronConnect, and we'll go through that next. Once we connect to the device's Bluetooth via VictronConnect, we'll be greeted with an overview screen here, some basic information about if the device is active or not active. We can also turn on and off the load or turn on and off the device via the Bluetooth slider here. But most importantly, here up in the upper right hand corner, we have this gear icon where we can define the specifics of how this Smart Battery Protect functions. Up here at the top, we can override the 12 or 24 volt parameter if we happen to switch this from one to the other, or if it somehow gets confused, we can force it to the proper voltage here. Down below, we have the ability to set the presets here. So we have these 1 through 9 presets, which you would also see when you're programming via the tapping cable method of programming. These 1 through 9s all correspond, and these voltages correspond there. So you could pick one of these that's close, or you can do a user-defined and specifically set the shutdown and restart voltages. Down below here, we have our mode of operation. Most of the time when we're using these, we're going to use it in mode A, normal operation, and buzzer. In the manual that goes through some of the specifics on where and when we would use these other options, maybe lithium ion if we're using it as a pseudo BMS or to break charge or discharge to a battery bank or something like that. But in general, we're going to use mode A and the rest of the defaults. We're just going to define our shutdown and restart voltages for our load. And again, the whole goal here is to preserve and protect our battery health. So where we have this shutdown and restart occur is going to vary pretty dramatically based on use and specifically battery chemistry. And if you had any other questions specific to that, you're always welcome to give us a call, talk with one of our techs, or leave a comment in the box below. We always read the comments and respond. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one.
Backwoods Solar is America's oldest and most trusted solar retailer with nearly 50 years of experience. Head over to our website, backwoodssolar.com, to get a free copy of our planning guide. While you're there, check out our Learning Center with articles on setup, sizing, tax credits, and so much more helpful information, especially if you're just getting started with solar. There are also links provided in the description.